Today on the Morning Edition, new details in a deadly weekend shooting where police say a man opened fire on two teenagers, while officers say the teens may have been targeted. Plus, a popular local bar shut down after a gas meter fire, and police believe it may be part of a pattern of intentional vandalism. What the authorities are saying and what they want you to watch for. And later, a new festival takes place for pickle lovers, Pickle Fest. We'll check out the sights and sounds of the event and what organizers are saying will happen next year as the Morning Edition starts now. Good Tuesday morning, everyone. Thanks for waking up with us today. Does Pickle Fest sound like a fest for you?
Anything pickle.
Yeah?
I'm going. I mean, I feel like it's kind of the theme lately is how we always have some type of food that we follow, and as of late, it seems to be pickles.
Yeah, I mean, I like pickles. I'm not obsessed with pickles, but I would check out a Pickle Fest.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming that they have different varieties, different type flavors. Who knows?
Different foods that you would never think to put pickles in?
Yeah, I mean, so hey, looking forward to that. Maybe even going one day. Heading out the doors today, of course, really through a good portion of this week. We've got some sunshine in the forecast. There's a lot going on this week as we close out the official end of spring and we welcome in astronomical summer by Sunday. We've got Juneteenth by Friday, Father's Day coming up, as well as the summer solstice, and we've got a nice stretch of weather that will go along with it. Beautiful conditions this morning, up under mostly clear to partly cloudy skies. We're sitting in the upper 40s, and we are going to see those temperatures warm about 20 degrees as we head into the afternoon hours. We're going to continue to steadily warm each and every afternoon. Now, across the state as a whole, we are seeing those temperatures 30s and 40s for many areas along the slope. We do have some temperatures dipping down below freezing. Utqiagvik at 29 degrees. We still have that flood watch that's in effect for most areas of the slope through tomorrow morning. This is due to that rain and that snow melt, which will lead to that possibility for some of those rising rivers and potential for some flooding. Heaviest rainfall will continue through parts of the Central Brooks Range. Meanwhile, closer to home, waking up this morning, we've got 45 in Kenai, 43 degrees in Palmer, 42 in Cordova, and 43 degrees in Seward. We're even seeing some parts of the Copper River Basin where temperatures are sitting in the mid to upper 30s. So I wouldn't be surprised if parts of the Copper River Basin manage to wake up with some localized areas of some frost potential this morning. Now, heading throughout the next couple of hours, we are going to see those temperatures again warming quite nicely into the 60s. We'll call it mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies. There is a chance that we'll see some thunderstorms firing later this afternoon for parts of the valley as well as the Copper River Basin. In fact, this daily thunderstorm chance will carry us through the close of the week, not only for South Central, but we'll also see that activity increasing into the interior. So coming up in my full forecast, we're continuing to watch that flood watch for the Brooks Range, those afternoon storms possible, and we're chasing the 70s and 80s again across the state. I'll have more on that in that 7-day coming up.
In this morning's top story, we're learning more about a weekend shooting that left one teenager dead and another in the hospital. There are still plenty of questions, but here's what we do know. Both shooting victims were underage, a 15 and a 16-year-old, according to court documents. The alleged shooter is 25-year-old Remel Nance. Documents show Nance called a PD dispatch a few minutes after 5 on Saturday morning, saying he shot someone breaking into his car. Just minutes later, one of the alleged teen victims called, saying he was bleeding. Police say they found the two teens on Hoyt Street with gunshot wounds to the upper body, as if they had been shot in the back. Security footage taken minutes before the shooting shows two people who appear to be the teens breaking into a window on Nance's car and running off. The footage then shows Nance coming out to clean up the broken glass. Minutes later, Nance fired 6 or 7 shots to the north. That's the same direction the two people were running, according to the documents. Nance faces felony counts of second-degree murder, manslaughter, and assault in the first degree. We have more details on this story on our website and mobile app. Now for an update to the controversy surrounding the Alaskan seat in the Senate up for election this midterm. The Petersburg Dan Sullivan is now off the ballot. The Division of Elections director says the Petersburg Sullivan intentionally tried to confuse voters, noting that he doesn't use the name Dan and isn't a Republican, amongst other complaints. While the Petersburg Sullivan has never talked to Alaska's news source, he released statements pushing back on the state's claims. The House Judiciary Committee is going to look into the threshold the state has to remove candidates from the ballot next Monday. Our political reporter Will Courtney spoke with the chair of that committee, Representative Andrew Gray, about the situation.
On the one hand, I think you could make the argument that he's a legitimate candidate who would like to serve in the U.S. Senate, and whose right do we have to say if that's true or not? But on the other hand, if it was done as a ploy to trick voters, is that against the law?
National Republicans and Senator Dan Sullivan have accused Mary Peltola of playing a role. Her campaign denies any involvement. 10 and counting. That's how many gas meters in Anchorage officials now believe have been tampered with. As Lauren Maxwell reports, the latest happened Monday morning, resulting in a fire at a downtown bar.
Someone called it in a little before 6 Monday morning. The gas meter on the back of Van's dive bar was on fire. Firefighters spent nearly 2 hours hosing down the cinder block building to keep it cool while employees rushed to the scene.
Anytime something like this happens, it's horrifying, right? Especially places our livelihood.
For NSTAR, it's becoming a familiar situation.
Any natural gas incident can be extremely dangerous, and as we all saw visually, it's quite jarring to see a fire that's caused from the gas meter tampering.
Over the last 4 weeks, NSTAR has responded to tampering incidents involving at least 10 commercial gas meters. The utility is working with police to try and catch the people involved.
That person was there for about a solid 20 minutes.
In this case, a neighboring business's security camera captured a blurry image of a person lingering behind the building where the fire started.
That's the only person within the area that looks suspicious.
NSTAR is asking people to keep their eyes open.
If you see something that's suspicious, please call it in. And of course, if you ever smell natural gas, go ahead and call it in. NSTAR will respond 24/7.
Back at Vans, they're figuring out what comes next.
So we don't have electric and gas right now, but right now there's no structural damage, but it is wildly inconvenient for us.
Still, when they see this melted mess, they know it could have been worse. Lauren Maxwell, Alaska's news source.
Meantime, a Wasilla doctor has been sentenced to nearly 3.5 years in federal prison for possessing child sex abuse material. Court records show Jeffrey Sponsler was given 41 months behind bars, followed by 15 years of supervised release. A $20,000 fine and more than $20,000 in assessments to benefit victims of child pornography offenses were also attached. Investigators say a search of his home turned up multiple devices with an extensive, organized collection of explicit images and videos. Some of them were edited by Sponsler himself. In court, he told the judge he accepts responsibility and apologized for his inappropriate actions. Sponsler owned 2 Wasilla businesses, the Alaska Brain Center and Alaska Music and Arts. It was a packed courtroom Monday as the trial of now 23-year-old Zarius Hildebrand entered day 3. Georgina Fernandez has been following this case since 2023 and was in court as testimony continued.
She was a wholehearted person.
That's how friends say 21-year-old Soraya Hildebrand is remembered.
Everything she did, it wasn't just for herself, but the people around her.
Her husband, Zarius Hildebrand, is accused of fatally shooting Soraya on August 6, 2023, after a night out with friends celebrating his 21st birthday.
He got drunk. I remember that. Like, he was sloshed.
On Monday, witnesses walked the jury through that night out.
Willowball was fun. Everyone was doing their own thing, dancing, having drinks.
Prosecutors say Hildebrand shot and killed Soraya in the early hours of August 6, then reported her missing and joined the search.
He was hurt, he was upset, he was flooded with emotions.
Meanwhile, security video from the same day shows Hildebrand buying new sheets in a garbage bin. Police later found a bloody mattress at the couple's apartment and Soraya's body in a sewer drain.
I smelled the human remains and also a strong smell of gasoline or a petroleum-based product.
Witnesses also described Hildebrand's behavior during search efforts after his arrest.
Pretty much he's remembering more than what he told APD, and that he was just crying.
One witness recalled a jailhouse conversation with Hildebrand.
I asked him if he wanted to say anything to anybody outside, and he said no, but I hope this thing isn't recording because I did what I did.
The defense pushed back on that interpretation.
What you recall is the statement, I did what I did.
Yes.
Okay. And no one else was there when he told you that, correct?
Yes.
They maintain a consistent theory that Soraya died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound and no one else was in the room.
You were not in the apartment. You were not in the building.
No, ma'am.
And you did not see who pulled the trigger on the gun that killed Miss Hildebrand.
Georgina Fernandez, Alaska's news source.
Drivers be warned, construction on a new Marriott hotel in Midtown could impact your commute. Work is being done on a street between 36th and 40th Avenues. The Department of Transportation says water and sewer lines are being extended under the road to connect the new hotel. GMC Contracting is in charge of the project. They say while work did cause road closures over the weekend, no more full street closures are planned. But a partial lane closure for curb and sidewalk work is planned for Wednesday as crews wrap up. We're getting a look at how Fairbanks neighbors are stepping up to protect their waterways. Over the weekend, soldiers, Boy Scouts, and Lions Club members picked up trash along the Chena River and Noyes Slough as part of the 22nd annual cleanup. Staging was at the Chena River State Recreation Site with boats running up and down the river. Organizers hope the community will continue taking care of its river by keeping storm drains clean.
We all live in the area and we love the Chena River. It's a heavily used resource. It's designated as the primary use of the Chena is for recreation. So it's really it's good housekeeping.
O'Brien also advised those living along the river to keep grass clippings out of the waterway. As we get closer to Juneteenth this Friday, the Alaska Black Caucus and Anchorage Chamber helped recognize key leaders at the Ebony Aurora Awards. The celebration and ceremony took place at the Denina Center. It recognized outstanding individuals and their dedication to things like service, advocacy, and positive change. Organizers recognized their contributions and are hopeful they'll continue to open doors for future generations.
Today we celebrate the emancipation of enslaved African Americans and honor the ongoing journey toward equality and justice.
As you heard, Juneteenth commemorates the end of slavery in the United States. On June 19th in 1865, Black Americans in Galveston, Texas, finally received word of their freedom more than 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation was signed. Juneteenth was officially signed into law as a federal holiday back in 2021. Still ahead today on the Morning Edition, it may not be your favorite season, but it's here. And no, I don't mean summer. It's wildfire season. So we have some reminders to practice good fire safety just ahead.
Temperatures continuing to steadily warm across the state. I'll have a look at that as well as what to expect when it comes to that thunderstorm activity. But first at sunrise, 4:20 in Anchorage, 5:13 in Bethel. Your full forecast is next.
Welcome back in on this Tuesday morning with a lovely live shot of a waterfall in the Tongass National Forest. Aaron,
nice. We got some nice weather heading our way this week as we continue to steadily warm across the state. In fact, this month is the first month we've seen this year with above average temperatures. We've seen those temperatures warm quite nicely into the upper 60s, the lower 70s. Our average monthly temperature this month coming in at 56.5 degrees. And again, that is the first warmest month that we've seen above average so far this year. With that said, our average temperature this year is still sitting below freezing at 28.2 degrees, and it's still the coldest start to a year since 1999. But we are going to continue to steadily warm across the state through the rest of this week. We've got 70s back in the forecast across South Central. We've also got some 70s returning to Southeast later this week with a push of some 80s looking likely by week's end for parts of the interior. It is fairly quiet to start off the morning. We are still watching some showers. That's pushing through parts of the slope region where we are still holding on to that flood watch. But as far as most of the state, we continue to remain fairly dry, and we do have a ridge of high pressure that's going to build in across the state. More so out towards the Aleutians and the Bering Sea as this ridge continues to build northward. And that's going to keep things fairly quiet through the Aleutians with plenty of sunshine to be expected, fairly light winds, as well as overall dry conditions as we head through the rest of this week. So if you live out towards the Aleutians as well as through parts of Bristol, as well as parts of the Bering Sea and western Alaska, you're going to continue to hold on to fairly quiet conditions. With that said, we could even see some early morning fog that will take shape each and every afternoon. So those cooler mornings, we're kind of pushing those aside as that ridge builds in here as we head through the next couple of days. There is that ridge. It's really going to strengthen over the Aleutian Islands, keeping things quiet and some sunshine in the forecast. A good portion of the state will hold on to some of that sunnier weather. Today, we're going to call it mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies across the vast majority of South Central. We are going to see those temperatures warming into the 60s. Now, later this afternoon into the evening hours, we will see some parts of South Central with some increasing cloud coverage. And that comes as we are going to be watching a chance that we could see some thunderstorm activity later this afternoon into the evening hours. So if you live in the valley, out towards the Copper River Basin, as well as parts of the Kenai, the central Kenai, you could see some of that thunderstorm activity, and this will carry us through the end of this week. So daily thunderstorms will be possible for parts of South Central, but the vast majority of the region will largely stay on the dry side, and we'll see ample sunshine sticking around. In fact, those temperatures easily climbing back into the 70s, and this trend will carry us into next week as well. Lately, we've been kind of holding on to a warming trend, back down to slightly cooler conditions, and then another warming trend. This warming trend looks to stay with us as we welcome in the weekend and into next week. So that 7-day forecast, Juneteenth, we do warm near 70 degrees, if not into the low to mid 70s into the valley. And then you can see as we welcome in Father's Day and the official start of summer solstice, those temperatures stay right around 70 degrees. And again, keep in mind some afternoon thunderstorms look possible through the end of the week.
Many Alaskans are looking forward to solstice weekend, but firefighters are bracing for danger. Last year around solstice, the state saw more than 15,000 lightning strikes. And with warm, dry weather settling in, the risk is rising again. Here's Danny Tompkins.
This view means one thing to a smoke jumper. It's time to work.
Probably one of the toughest jobs you could ever have.
Crews in Alaska have already been on the ground this season, with warmer, drier conditions moving in.
Solstice is usually a time where we see a lot of lightning, a lot of instability in the atmosphere.
Beth Ibsen with BLM Alaska Fire Service says a fire near Ambler took off on a windy day. Within hours, it grew to 500 acres and started closing in on the community.
Pretty scary day for the folks in Ambler, and they were able to drop about 100,000 gallons of water within 2 days.
The fire near Ambler still has an active crew on site as of Monday, but Beth says it should be contained this week. And the harder part of the season is still ahead.
Being careful about what you do, that you don't cause a fire. Those are the preventable fire starts. The lightning cause, Mother Nature sometimes has the upper hand. We don't have any sway over that.
So what can you do? First, make sure you're drowning your fire by adding water, stirring, and making sure it's cold to the touch. Don't park on dry grass because your exhaust pipe can start a fire. And never leave a fire unattended because those are the ones you can prevent. Danny Tompkins, Alaska's news source.
For more information on fire safety and wildfire updates, you can visit akfireinfo.com.
Thanks for listening to our podcast. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcasts from Alaska's news source automatically. And stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting. Available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's news source app.